Hello YouTube. Continuing on from the curious bits of Sony video equipment, I have another one. This is an even more weird thing. It's a colour video printer. Quite why anyone would want to print their video is beyond me, but apparently they do, because Sony made a whole thing to do it. So yeah, I salvaged this from the dumpster, so let's have a look. There's a hole in the front, don't know what goes in there. There's a hole in the side. I guess maybe rolls of paper go in there. If it's printing video, presumably a frame at a time, then it would need quite a long bit of paper, so yeah, I guess that's maybe what goes in there. And there is a slot in the back. Don't know what goes in there either. So yeah, let's take it apart. Oh, and it's got a fan on the top here, and some buttons. Yeah, let's take it apart. Have a look inside. So it has one screw, because I've helpfully removed the others already. Is that cheating? Maybe it's cheating, I don't know. Right. One screw still doesn't want to come apart. So we take the top off. We have a rather boring looking control PCB here for these buttons and the stuff that was under the window there. Right, what else have we got here? Little photo detector-y thing there. The fan. Curiously, they've put the fan right on top of the all the mechanical stuff, which seems a little bit of a curious choice. Okay, let's crack on and destroy some more stuff. There's not a fan there. I guess that's a power supply. Looks very power supply-y. Let's take some screws out. So there is the power supply, fairly boring switch mode power supply. Okay, we've got a couple of little optical sensors in there, but that's about it. Oh, that's a quite a high density looking video board. So there's some video inputs here on this side. All this stuff looks like, I don't know, little transformy things, and there's some little ferrites there. Power switch, that's quite nice. Huh, so the power switch on the front here went all the way back down to this this big assembly, so the actual power switch is within the power supply, and it's got this sort of over the top thing. That's quite a nice touch. Made of ABS. It says so. Boring. That's quite nice. So this board's on little plastic hinges, so the whole thing opens out like that. And because most of the connectors were down this side, you could just operate the whole thing with this board opened out. Didn't really expect that for something that looks kind of consumery from the outside. So what have we got here? An NEC chip, some kind of weird cell thing, another NEC SIL package, custom Sony chip, Sony, and a bunch of other stuff, another custom Sony chip. Let's try and take these big silver panels off. Under here we have another NEC chip, a whole lot more Sony chips. So this board is actually labelled quite nicely. Here, analog block, analog, digital. This says it doesn't actually say anything. Oh wait, yeah, okay, so the digital block is that bit. This bit in here is HM block, whatever that is. Yeah, and the labels on the back again. That's quite nicely laid out actually. So this is the back. Yeah, all these bits of digital block again. Just got a load more Sony chips. Sony. Oh, an NEC, another Sony. Yeah, and that's about it for this board, I think. Okay, so that's a little board with a little opto sensor on it, and that's about it, apart from the fan. So you have a motor here, another motor here, something, and a stepper motor here. So this thing looks like some sort of thermal, maybe, yeah, it must be a thermal printhead of some sort. Yick. Okay, yeah, this must be some kind of thermal printer. It's got heat compound to an aluminium backing plate. That must be why they put the fan in the top as well, to dissipate any excess heat. So that's kind of weird. So this is the printed under the macro end. Here's one of the connectors. There's this whole multi-layer cable which goes into these little black blobs. I guess these are little drivers, little silicon drivers of some sort. And then at the front here, if I can focus on it, is the actual heating element, and you can see this little green layer with, maybe you can see some tiny little traces in there. And even the individual little pixels on this thing. So this printer obviously took some fairly specialised paper. I'm not entirely sure how colour thermal printers work, but this thing did profess to be a colour printer. So I guess maybe they have little strips on the paper, each of which is responsible for a colour, and they just align with these individual pixels on here. Let's see if I can break into this some more for you. Okay, so this whole flex strip just kind of peeled off. It was just bar soldered onto the ceramic substrate of the heater. So yeah, here's the print head strip with this thing removed. You can see all the connections along the ceramic strip on this side. The flex cable was just stuck on with some gunky adhesive stuff. These I doubt are, they're epoxied on with some pretty robust epoxy. And then we just have this little bar along here, which unfortunately is highly reflective, so it isn't photographing particularly well. So I reckon this thing It doesn't seem to have any video reading mechanisms, so there was a video input on the side. So I guess, as I was saying before the battery died, yeah, there doesn't seem to be any kind of video tape reader or any other kind of digital media or analog media reader. There's just this analog input on the side. So I reckon this whole thing is just a printer, specifically for printing to some kind of esoteric paper format. Otherwise, I say, why anyone would want to do that. I guess maybe if you're studying film or something and you might want to make some kind of storyboard or something. Okay, so this motor controlled this assembly, which applied and removed the print head. This motor, it appears, controlled these wheels, or at least this one anyway. And this stepper motor appears to have been coupled to this system, which was responsible for, I think, advancing paper somewhere, although it's a little hard to tell. The rollers for that are down here, and it looks rather like the two rolls for the paper thing went in there. Unless this thing took to... oh yeah, okay, there we go. So maybe it accepted two separate sources of thermal paper to print on. Oh, that bit comes out. So, there you go, one more rather curious bit of rather vintage Sony electronics. How old is it? What are the date codes on this? Let's find a normal looking chip. Those NEC ones will probably do. 9724, 9726. Yeah, it looks like it's from 1997 vintage, so about 10 years old. Yeah, hope that was kind of interesting to someone.